Thank you, Las Corla, and can I thank the Corla for selecting this important topic for discussion. Minister, every day I'm receiving complaints from constituents regarding the dropping of mobile phone calls. Every day I'm asking people to move their location so that I can hear what they're actually saying because of the quality of mobile phone coverage. And you, Minister, coming from a rural constituency, know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, on the 1st of February, the Government launched the new National Digital Strategy, Harnessing Digital, the Digital Ireland Framework. Now, one of the objectives set out in that framework was making connectivity available to everyone. And it set a target that all populated areas would be covered by 5G no later than 2030. Now, Minister, Ayr today have 5G coverage over 70% of Ireland's population, covering 322 towns across the country. That's close to providing coverage for every town of a population of 500 or more. 3 have today population coverage at 79% for 5G technology. And by 2028, we will have 146,000 kilometres of fibre cable stretching across 96% of Ireland's landmass. So setting a goal 2 years later, by 2030, for only covering the populated areas of the country is not very ambitious. And Minister, on top of that, within your own department, the Department of Justice is going to have to re-tender for the Tetra radio communications network, the digital radio service for An Garda Síochána and for the other emergency services. That's costing the taxpayer €40 million per annum at the moment. This network needs to be replaced. It needs to be replaced with a 5G network and it needs to have geographic coverage. Not just only support the existing emergency services, but, for example, remote drone operation providing Garda air support right across Ireland, not just in the city of Dublin, here in the city of Dublin through the Air Corps, and that can be done with 5G technology. Now, today there is a real gap in providing mobile voice and data services to address the backspots that we have across the country that are having a negative impact on business and on tourism in our rural areas. And this will have a significant impact on medical care, on the care of older people, and the use of technology on farms into the future. Now, as one of the most dispersed populations in Europe, Ireland has a relatively high percentage of its landmass with no mobile data coverage. And I believe, Minister, now is the time to focus on the opportunity that the state has, working in collaboration with industry, to develop a shared rural network to address this issue and assist in the further balanced regional development and economic development of our rural areas. This shared rural network could provide the critical 4G and 5G coverage that would enhance the operation of our rural economy and support key activities such as farming, medical services, older people schemes in rural areas, SME business operations, and ensure that people can remain connected when they're travelling around the country, working in rural Ireland or living in our rural areas.
Thank you, Las Corla, and thank Deputy Naughten for raising this very important matter here today. It is well recognised how important telecommunication services are to citizens for so many aspects of their daily lives, including remote working, studying and staying in touch with their family members. These services have proved more than essential since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic and will continue to provide vital support in accelerating digitalisation as part of our economic recovery from the pandemic. Access to high-quality telecommunication services is also of crucial importance in the context of supporting the current and future development of enterprise in both rural and urban Ireland, as well as our emergency services. Ireland's level of connectivity to support digital activity has improved significantly in recent years. The Digital Economy and Society Index is a composite index summarising relevant indicators on Europe's digital performance. Ireland ranked 5th in the 2021 among EU countries, compared to 11th in 2019. The continued investment by commercial operators and by the state through the National Broadband Plan will ensure that Ireland is set to become the EU leader in connectivity by the second half of this decade. Mobile coverage obligations are set out in licences granted by the independent regulator, ComReg, to mobile operators. ComReg advises that the current minimum coverage obligations in those licences are being considerably exceeded by all operators. Capital investment by telecommunications operators over the last 5 years was in the order of €3.3 billion for both fixed and mobile services. This has significantly enhanced the availability of services, both voice and data, throughout Ireland, including in rural areas. Telecommunication operators have committed to continued investment programmes in the coming years, estimated to be in the region of €700 million per annum. ComReg is currently in the process of running another multi-band spectrum award to assign rights of use in 4 spectrum bands. The award comprises 470 MHz of spectrum and represents a 46% increase in the harmonised spectrum assigned for the provision of wireless broadband services in Ireland. This will significantly enable the market to provide improved services to meet increasing consumer demand for mobile data and new services. To assist consumers to choose the network provider that best meets their needs for where they live, work and travel, ComReg has developed a national outdoor coverage map. This map, which is available on the ComReg website, provides consumers with very clear information on where operators have good 2G, 3G and 4G coverage. For a truly connected society and economy, having access to both mobile and fixed services is important, as these services are complementary to each other. The National Broadband Plan, which is being deployed across every county in Ireland, will ensure that every home, business, farm and school in rural Ireland will have access to a future-proof fibre broadband service on a par with the best such service available in urban areas. Where citizens have a fixed fibre broadband service, this will reduce some pressure on mobile networks, freeing up capacity for other users. Another positive benefit results from the amount of fibre now being brought very deep into rural areas, which offers the potential for mobile operators to access this fibre to carry high volumes of data. It is very clearly evident that people living and working in rural areas have benefited from the very significant investment in upgrading both mobile and fixed telecommunications infrastructure. The Government's ambition is for this investment to continue into the future until Ireland has become the most connected country in the European Union. Thank you, Laskin Corda.
Thanks, Minister. Absolutely, there is big ambition in terms of providing fibre, but there's no ambition in terms of mobile services. And what I'm talking about here, Minister, is establishing a shared rural network, that you would have all the operators on a single network. And this would be complementary to the National Broadband Plan. And there are similar models already operating in other markets like the UK and Germany. And in fact, in Northern Ireland at the moment, they are building out such a shared network, rural network. And the estimated cost of doing that here in Ireland would be approximately €30 to €50 million, which is small money, as well as it's slashing the cost of the provision of an emergency and Garda communications network, which has to be now retendered for and a new network built. Now, I understand, Minister, that the telecoms industry, via IBEC, is already engaging with Government to progress a Phase 1 proof of concept rollout of this particular model, shared rural network model, which will cost approximately €5 million if implemented in the short term. This project would ensure that all operators would have equal opportunity to provide a service in rural locations, and would ensure in the short term that those communities with the poorest service today would have an immediate benefit in terms of the improvement of mobile phone coverage, just like we're doing with the National Broadband Plan, where we're giving universal access to a network that is available to all of the operators. Now, Minister, you mentioned the auction that's going to take place with ComReg. I'm asking that there would be a small portion of that money, between €30 and €50 million of that money, would be ring-fenced to establish a shared rural network across this country to ensure that everyone has access to a 5G network.
Minister.
Thank you, Lascar Corlin. Again, thank Deputy Naughten for raising this very important matter in concerning the need for decisive steps to improve mobile telephone coverage in rural areas for both individuals, businesses and, of course, emergency services. And I will certainly bring the Deputy's comments in relation to the proposal around a shared rural network and the costings estimated around 30 to 50 million euros to the Minister's attention. As already outlined in my opening remarks, connectivity in rural areas, both fixed and mobile, is very much on an upward trajectory. Coverage at both a population and geographical level has greatly improved through the very substantial investments being made by commercial operators and through the Government's National Broadband Plan. From a mobile perspective in particular, a key determinant for quality coverage is the availability of suitable spectrum. Over the past decade, spectrum awards have consistently included appropriate spectrum that has allowed mobile operators to provide enhanced services for customers. Comreg is currently in the process of running another multi-band spectrum award, and this award will include a number of spectrum bands, including the 700 MHz band. The 700 MHz band is an important band for the provision of widespread coverage, including in rural areas and on national transport routes. This band is highly suitable for the provision of existing 4G and, over time, new 5G services. This is especially important in Ireland, given our challenging demographic characteristics and the high and exponential costs associated with deploying very high levels of mobile coverage. This spectrum award process will incentivise commercial operators to continue to invest in their networks and to use the additional spectrum being made available to provide both enhanced and new services throughout the country, including in rural areas. Investment by commercial operators in their fixed and mobile networks, together with the Government's investment in the National Broadband Plan, will position Ireland as a leader in the EU terms of digital connectivity. Thank you, Lascar Corlin.